Good day, everyone. My name is Dr. Ethel REYES-CHUA, professorial lecturer at PhilSCA, IGS. My topic is on motivation and research. I have only one ILO for today, which is to motivate you or the researchers to conduct research. Let me start with a thought to remember. Research is a high-hat word that scares a lot of people. It needn't. It is rather simple. Essentially, it is nothing but a state of mind, a friendly, welcoming attitude towards change, going out to look for change instead of waiting for it to come. Research for practical men is an effort to do things better and not to cause lift at a switch. The research state of mind can apply to anything, personal affairs or any kind of business, big or little. It is the problem-solving mind as contrasted with the let well enough alone mind. It is the composer mind instead of a fiddler mind. It is the tomorrow mind instead of the yesterday mind. This is according to Charles F. Kettering, the Director of Research for General Motors Corporation. I hope you get something from this idea. Who do you think is the best motivator to motivate you in conducting research? The answer is you. I will start with an introduction, followed by motivation and taking action. And then the question, what motivates teachers to conduct research? Or what motivates people to conduct research? Not only teachers, but other people as well. Motivation for research and publication. What to do when you have no motivation at all? Personal and professional advice, and some inspirational and motivational quotes. We still have time. I'll give you a short workshop after this short lecture. What do you think? What do people do when they cannot answer their own questions? What do they do when their hunches are correct or incorrect? What process do they use to make this formal or to make this a formal research? Do they need some systematic approach or procedures to ask the appropriate questions? Do they need valid and reliable instruments to conduct research? Who need research? Educators, students, health service providers, policymakers, even the managers or administrators. They really value what research is. Why? To make decisions, to perform their functions effectively. And research can help them meet their needs. Teachers would know what better teaching materials to be used when they conduct research. For health service providers to improve the delivery of health services. Feli David, 2002, mentions that the role of research in improving our quality life are as follows. It can result in development or improvement of skills, behavior, or practices. Improved skills, behavior, or practices can lead to better condition and better quality of life. New tools and strategies can improve performance or better service delivery, which contribute to the improvement of man's living conditions and again of quality of life. Through research, there could be new knowledge, new skills, new technology, and new tools can all be developed and for improving our quality of life. Let's try to have a game. to find out the different characteristics of research. This characteristics focuses on the researcher's direct knowledge or perception. What do you think? It begins with letter E. The correct answer is empirical. I think one got the correct answer. Next. The study is based on standards and procedures which are relevant. These characteristics of research begins with letter L. You're right. It's logical. This begins with an issue and finishes also with an issue. This begins with letter C. Oops, it's cyclical. Better luck next time. This study utilizes validated empirical techniques to capture the data, including historical, descriptive, experimental, and case study. This begins with letter A. It's analytical. Research reveals accurate and conscientious and precise judgment. What characteristics of research is this? It begins with letter C. You're right, it's critical. This study will be carried out using standardized techniques and protocols in a methodical way without prejudice. It begins with letter M. Reading between the lines, you got the correct answer. It's methodical. And the last one, the nature and procedures of the study are reused, repeated, to enable the researcher to arrive at reliable and definitive findings. This begins with letter R. Okay, you got the correct answer, replicability. So these are the characteristics of research. Now my question is, are you ready? Are you ready to conduct research? First, you should know what motivation is. So what do you think is motivation? Motivation is the desire to act in the service of a goal. It is the crucial element in setting and attaining one's objectives, and research shows that people can influence their own levels of motivation, and we call that self-motivation. Research shows that motivation has many sources. It could be extrinsic or intrinsic, but of course, the best one is always the intrinsic, because this inspires people from within, the desire to improve at a certain activity. Intrinsic motivation tends to push people more forcefully, and the accomplishments are more fulfilling. Let me ask you, who makes you motivated? Or what makes you motivated in your life? There could be several answers. Well, if you ask me, I would say it's my family, sometimes my friends, neighbors, professors, my gadgets, your workspace from home, and other things. Lao Tzu says motivation is about character. What's your thoughts? They become words. What's your words? They become actions. What's your actions? They become habits. And what's your habits? They become character. What's your character? They become destiny. I read the book entitled Life's Basics that will lead you to be motivated, which I would like to share with you before anything else. This is according to Steve Chandler and Scott Richardson. The first one they mentioned about self-discipline. This is remembering what you want, according to David Campbell. Some people may ask you, why do you produce more results? Just silently say this to yourself. Self-discipline. Why are you so humble even if you had 30 Scopus index particles? Again, it's self-discipline. If someone brags about his wealth, recognitions, and all this in his life, so be it. Respect the person. But say this to yourself. Self-discipline. The second tip is do the right thing. Doing more than one thing at a time produces fear, adrenaline, and anxiety in the human system, and people pick up on that. The mind entertains only one thought at a time, and only one. The greatest source of stress in the workplace is the mind's attempt to carry many thoughts, many tasks, many future scenarios, many worries and concerns all at once. Well, the mind cannot do that, not even Einstein's mind did. Try to focus on one thing, one at a time. The next tip is know your purpose. Teaching is not a bed of roses, and so does conducting research. So teaching and research should always go together. Go back to your purpose. To those you mentioned that keep you motivated in your life, if you have a clear purpose, why do you want to teach? And why do you want to conduct research? So, it's easy to know your purpose by identifying what you really want in life. There's no better way to motivate another human being. If your friend has difficulty of doing research, seek what is possible. So this is the next tip. Offer your support. This is the only way that you share experiences and have fun. Be good with people who could motivate others too. Be friendly. Smile. And start learning to those who have positive outlook. Avoid those who think so highly of themselves and enjoy learning alone. Well, that's their personality. Respect them. Enjoy the company of others who say good things with other people as well. Next tip is to know your strengths. I know you have so many strengths, like enthusiasm, trustworthiness, creativity, discipline, patience, respectfulness, determination, dedication, and a lot more. The next tip that they mentioned is to use 10 minutes well to appreciate other people. Have you ever mentioned this to your friend or to someone you know who deserves it? The 5 most important words? I am proud of you. Can you tell that to your friend? It's free. Or the 4 most important words. What is your opinion? And there are 3 most important words. If you please. And the 2 most important words is thank you. And 1 most important word is you. The next tip is be enthusiastic. Enthusiastic engagement involves expressing pride in the activities that you do and loving them. Nothing great was ever created without enthusiasm, according to Ralph Waldo Emerson. All the world's a stage. You are a great actor on that stage. So enthusiasm is really contagious. If you are excited about your idea, everyone else will get excited. That's how it works. Always remember Emerson's observation that nothing great was ever created without enthusiasm. Stay on your learning curve. Let your colleagues, your friends know that you are learning. Don't show them a know-it-all attitude all the time. Try to invite them to attend seminars such as this, and you will enjoy it together. And the next one is to make things happen. Make it happen today. The ability to motivate others well flows from the importance that we attach to today. So what I can do today? Make it happen. In summary, the thoughts of Chandler and Richardson suggest that motivation is not about other people, but rather how you deal with yourself and motivate yourself to accomplish your own goal. So how do you start working on a goal? First, think why you are setting a goal and what do you want to change. Second, divide these goals into series of small, specific, and measurable tasks. Create a plan to accomplish its goal. Balance a realistic understanding of the challenges ahead with confidence that you can overcome. Vilska has only 3 months to study, 3 months to do research. So how could you do it? Start working on a goal. Do it one at a time. You can do many things in just one day. And you can change your mind in just 1 minute. So start now. Make it happen today. Motivation and taking action according to James Clear. Action is not only the motivation effect, but also the cause of it. Most people contribute to practice only when they have a certain degree of inspiration. And then when they get an intense boost, they just experience energy. For example, people get inspired to prepare for the exam because they fear the repercussions, or even because they fear the repercussions. People just take up the instrument to practice it as they are motivated by the people they should perform with. People conduct research because, just like you, it's a requirement. We feel lethargic and apathetic towards a certain target that we have set for ourselves because we lose the inspiration and the drive, because we have no underlying personal urge to do it. We tend to do something because it is necessary or because we are enthusiastic to do it. Many individuals are unable to find the inspiration they need to accomplish the milestones they desire, while certain aspects of the equation are consuming so much time and energy or money. If you decide to make the inspiration easier to get going, it can simplify the early phases of your behavior. So, setting a plan for yourself sounds easy, but by assigning your priorities, it sets a better decision making. It makes it more probable that you can push through with your degree of inspiration. And there are tons of determination and encouragement tests to back up that point. Avoid looking for encouragement or inspiration to reach you and build your behavior routine. That is the contrast between the amateurs and the experts. Professionals set a timeline and stay with it. Amateurs wait before they are empowered or encouraged. Try to do this do something principle by Mark Manson. This is a kind of a loop wherein the motivation chain is just a 3-part chain, but an endless one. Your deeds build more motivation and emotional responses and go on to inspire the potential acts. Using this insight, we should hopefully reorient our attitude in the following way. So you have your action, inspiration, motivation. It could also start with the motivation, action, inspiration. Or inspiration first, then you are motivated, and then you act. This is the do something principle by Mark. What is the implication of this do something principle? The implication is that you lack the desire to create a substantial difference in your life, then do something. Really, really something. And then use this response to that behavior as a means to continue inspiring yourself. What I find is that even if they do something, it will give them the strength and encouragement to try something more again, including the smallest of acts. They've given a signal to themselves, well, I have done that. I think I can do more. So the first time I wrote a research article and it was published in a Scopus journal, I told myself, I think I can do another one. And then when I was able to publish the second one, I again told myself, I think I can do one. And then it goes on. So that's the do something principle. Manage your time effectively. I know it's easy or difficult for others. So to become a bad planner of your time is one simple way to lose confidence. Keep inspired by time management and time waster constraints. Manage your time effectively by saying nobody needs to be busy all the time. Yet, if you can handle your energy efficiently, you can find yourself making even more productive. Take, for example, the Eisenhower method, named after President Dwight Eisenhower, but later popularized by Dr. Stephen Covey, is the most popular time management program. The device splits down all our processes into 4 quadrants. So the first one is that there are things that are important and urgent. This is the quad 1. For example, activities such as crisis, pressing problems, deadline driven. So the result is, of course, stress, burnout, crisis management, and always putting out fires. The second quadrant is that there are important things, but these are not urgent, like prevention, capability improvement, relationship building, recognizing new opportunities, planning, or recreation. So the results: vision, perspective, balance, discipline, control, and acute crisis. And there are also activities that are not so important, but then they are urgent, like interruptions, calls, emails, reports, meetings, pressing matters, popular activities. So the results: short-term focus, crisis management, okay, reputation, chameleon character, see goals planned as worthless, feel victimized, out of control, shallow or broken relationships. And the quad 4 is there are things that are not important but not urgent. These are like trivia, busy work, some emails, some personal social media, some phone calls to time wasters, pleasant activities. So the results: total responsibility, fired from jobs, dependent on others or institutions for basics. So motivation comes from different aspects: performance, idea, goals, success, attitude, support, and encouragement from others. The head in this graph, or moral expectations. Another theory, according to Professor Pear, on motivation is to use your head, your heart, and your hand. The head reflects our moral expectations, our clear aims, and our willingness to work and accomplish them in a specific manner. The heart reflects the center of feelings. It's not only our implicit desires and motivations, but also the feelings that underlie a role like pleasant, enjoyment, or anxiety. Finally, the hand reflects our strengths, talents, skills, expertise, interactions among others. So this is really important. Head, heart, and hand should always go together. This figurative brain, heart, and hand come into motion anytime you want to achieve an objective or to execute a mission. Your moral thoughts, your feelings, and your true and imagined ability have an effect on your degree of motivation. All these three elements need to be met to have a maximum inspiration. When it does, we fall into the breeze. But if one of the three ingredients is absent, we're failing to be inspired. Many people find it demotivated. In this scenario, use your willpower to press on, to go on, to move on, to always get the job done. But I'm saying temporary because it's a bad long-term tactic and you may just end up burning out. So taking a treatment to consider these may cause demotivation. This is the safer way. Managing with motivation in mind. So you don't have to spend a lot of money to create a workplace which is motivating. People's satisfaction isn't anything that you can buy, but instead it's something that arises by making action to build a work atmosphere and community where teachers or other people or staff are treated with dignity and realize they are respected for their special and independent efforts while still becoming part of the organization or an institution. Remember, motivation management is an ongoing process. People will get really easily demotivated when the job climate shifts in a bad way. Now, in conducting research, you have to satisfy yourself. You should know the ARCS model. Using the ARCS model, your attention, relevance of what you do, your confidence as a person, and your satisfaction will come out. And the ARCS model's attention begin by motivating yourself. It is always important to find the correct balance between boredom and hyperactivity. Develop your awareness about a topic that you really like most, a topic that you can answer, that you can relate into. Relevance. Check on your goals and experience about the idea that you would like to write about. Do you really like to do research? This is the question. What is the relevance of this in your work? Is it necessary? Make the topic applicable to you and your institution. So that is relevance. Next is confidence. How confident are you in conducting research? Do you have enough materials and knowledge to share? Do you allow yourself to steer your learning experiences? Do you know the use of the ResearchGate, academia.edu, ProQuest, EBSCO-Host, and all this? Satisfaction. Are you satisfied with your own work? Do you need someone to help you out and be satisfied with it afterwards? Provide yourself the opportunity to apply the knowledge you have learned. Ask help. That is one key. Ask help from your advisor, from your friend, or someone who really knows about your topic. What motivates teachers or people to conduct research? I have here two example countries in Malaysia and our country, the Philippines. In Malaysia, major changes and reforms in education have been gradually changed or improved by the Ministry of Education from time to time. The main rationale for the change in curriculum, especially in subject matters, is to enhance the quality of teaching and learning. In the same manner, in the Philippines, There is a study made by Mark Ulya 2017 that explores the attitudes and motivation problems requirements of 50 teachers doing work in Agusan del Norte. Methodologies used included questionnaires for polls and interviews with communities and people. So it showed that teacher respondents had a favorable view of doing research and its implications for their teaching and learning processes. Therefore, career advancement is their driving reason or force that teachers have been studying. However, difficulties identified, such as lack of expertise and skills in science, high teaching loads, the school's shortage of financial resources prevented them from doing so. So the teachers believed that they had to do work where attending and engaging in research preparation, obtaining study opportunities, and getting a lighter teaching timetable. For decision leaders, scholars, and administrators of the school to think and make decisions. This is based on the study of Mark Ulya 2017. So findings from this analysis, the concerns of those teachers to build a teacher research group. The teachers were asked the reasons for doing research or why research is important. The overwhelming majority of teachers agreed that research would help them improve the classroom, the teaching and learning process. They also claimed that research could help solve some of the problems they face in the classroom or school, and some of the excerpts are as follows. One says there is room for improvement in our teaching. The students are not learning, and number of complaints. Its students at higher levels do not understand the basics that are supposed to be taught at lower forms. There is truth in it. I blame the examination. And then some say, maybe we won't have much time or much of the problem that we have now. Students play, refuse to learn, and do not do their homework. And discipline in the class is quite bad sometimes. It is difficult for teachers to manage teaching. We need to improve. We need new ways to teach. ICT, computers, and the like, and perhaps Malaysian way of teaching. That's according to Malaysia study. Malaysia wants to be a developed country, so we have to produce quality education. It's the same thing with the study of Ulya. So, not for money. They conduct research not for money or any form of prizes. All I'm asking is some recognition. Giving some credits for completing some research work, I do reflect on my teaching and adjust. Okay. You must be motivated and know what you're doing. This is also according to a teacher. I am sure most teachers would reflect and self-evaluate their teaching. Give them some coaching and encourage them to read. Many would do it systematically after everybody has to be accountable for what they do. And then another one says, teachers are motivated to conduct research if there is proper training for teachers on how to do it. Just like students. Before they could write their own research or their study, they should be attending seminars or trainings like this. So proper training on how to do things right. Show how to do research. Then with that knowledge and the know-how, maybe we can work together. And if we need extra help like funds and materials, the school would be willing to help, not just by giving orders according to another teacher. Okay. Now, there are enthusiasm among teachers to conduct research. There are grievances and complaints. The teaching profession is not attractive and many complaints have been hurled at teachers, especially when things do not happen as well as expected. So teaching is very challenging, and so does research. Teachers need motivation and reward in any form, so they could conduct themselves in school and in the classroom the professional way. In the Philippines, okay, the Department of Education has given an order to all school heads, administrators, and teachers for the implementation of the enclosed basic education study program that encourages the conduct of education research in the country. That is according to them in 2016. The aim is to recognize the needs and challenges of teachers and the department and to suggest approaches based on the results and findings. With professional growth and advancement as one of the main outcome fields for the learning environment and evaluation of the particular instructor conducting action results has now been part of the teacher's annual learning evaluations. It takes up 5% of the overall rating through teachers' evaluation. So according to the respondents of ULIA, when asked about doing research is valuable, everyone agrees. So he got 100%. Doing research is valuable to the teaching and learning process for my students is also 100%. Doing research will possibly impact my student learning is also 100%. Doing research project will positively impact my teaching is 98%. So only two disagree. I view myself as a teacher co-researcher or teacher researcher is 92%. 8% did not agree. Doing research will develop and enhance my skills professionally is 96%. Doing research encourages critical self-reflection is 100%. Doing research engages teachers in a more systematic examination of instruction or teaching practice is 98%. Doing research enables teachers to examine and explore classroom and school problems and their solutions is 100%. Doing research helps teachers to acquire new knowledge for classroom teaching is also 98%. So what does that mean? Therefore, it is necessary to understand the needs, expectations, and challenges of these teachers to undertake research. Motivate them to do work and develop their knowledge, not just their teaching experience, but also their professional development. So according to this study, as work enhances and strengthens the teaching expertise and confidence of teachers, Board 2014, broadening and enhancing awareness of their own teaching styles and learning approaches for students, Board 2014, Hong and Lawrence 2011, and Burns 2010, and holding them accountable and liable for developing their teaching experience, Morales 2016, addressing their concerns will raise the spirit. Furthermore, schools and other educational organizations may suggest conducting study as an extra task for the students. Therefore, teachers will be given ample flexibility to do both teaching and research at the same time. So not only do they enjoy, but they can also see the positives and rewards of conducting work for their career development, for themselves, and for their students. In the higher education institutions in the Philippines, agreeing that curriculum and research matter fairly. To name at least one professor in research education at the university. So it's really good to hear the word professor. And if you have this title, you are really the best. Constructing a teaching research building for the university, bridging the gaps between research and personnel, and including teachers. Only educators who specialize in research and teaching will be appointed in positions. So these are the benefits of conducting research in HEIs. Appointing only academics who excel in both research and teaching. Strengthening positive attitudes towards research by students among staff and students. Making resources available for students to do research, or making it possible for libraries to give information literacy instruction to their students, or offering opportunities and incentives for further development of their research-based teaching competence and excellence, creating and stimulating opportunities for dissemination and recognizing teaching excellence. Or in an undergraduate courses, maybe you could provide the management could provide the student research rewards, for instance. And of course, monitoring the growth of research-based teaching. In conducting research, systematically organize time and function in a formal schedule of time management, for example, can make it more manageable. For this reason, applications such as Google Calendar can be used. Research must bear in mind that their profound involvement in the area is the key reason for conducting their work, not for income. Any researcher must have a strong degree of trust and must never easily give up. However, if the researcher is serious in learning new information, then ultimately the study would be positive. Researchers should never stay discreet regarding their recently gained expertise and should also be able to exchange details with their colleagues. Cooperation is an essential benefit to a team effort being successful. So as graduate student, once you finish your research or your thesis, make it available online or present it in an international or local forum. In writing, experience is the secret to attaining the ability to create exceptional and high-quality writing. One part of the learning cycle is every day. Before we start writing, we need to decide the purpose of writing carefully, as that objective defines the scope of each writing project. Make excellent writing relies on the keenness of the author to go all out in the writing process. A better product will support not just the research community, but also the wider population. The writer should be well conscious of what will be submitted and should select tasks with shorter deadlines. Working on a conference report will enhance the consistency of a new author's writing. This training will lay the basis for strong learning. A trustworthy mentor will be a successful dissertation examiner, for example. The written format defined for the task should be observed faithfully, just like here at Philstep. We have the format of our research, so it's easier to write about it. It's easier to write when you have the format. In research, it is really important to have a trustworthy mentor or advisor who can really help you from start to end. And a good format can make things easier. Excellent writing needs a strong degree of language competence and the capacity to interpret study results, which would have a direct effect on readers. It is also necessary for authors to be reluctant to plagiarize others' works and to guarantee that their plays are truly their own. So tips to become more successful as a researcher: researchers and educators are expected to undertake these professional activities. You do instruction, you research, you also need to publish your research. You do some advising, community service, and extension activities. At first, it will be challenging to perform any of these tasks. It would also get even simpler to do so over time. So, a teacher will concentrate on their core duties of teaching, study, and writing to improve their knowledge in their own fields. Researchers will be timely and involved in finishing their studies, since other researchers operating on a related topic would then report their findings. Because the time periods becomes too long, the consistency of the work cannot be taken for granted, however. So there is a need for research ethics. This will diligently practice during the whole project, because we do not allow anyone to see any excuse to undermine our results. An assistant professor in India conducted a study on motivation research. Some highlights of this study are the following. So he asked the question, what makes people to undertake research? Well, this is a question of fundamental importance. According to him, the possible motives for doing research may be either one or more of the following: desire to get a research degree along with its consequential benefits, desire to get intellectual joy of doing some creative work, desire to face the challenge in solving unsolved problems if there's any, that is, concern over practical problems initiates research, the desire to be of service to society, and desire to get respectability. Many more factors such as directives of government, employment conditions, curiosity about new things, desire to understand causal relationships, social thinking, and awakening. And others may as well motivate or at times compel people to perform research activity. So as synthesis, people conduct research for professional development, for professional growth, promotion, salary increases to be, collaborations and linkage, extra good income, self-satisfaction, and fulfillment, which is really important to a person. So what to do when you have no motivation at all? Do you think you can write? So whether you can get or you cannot get motivated to teach or to write, lack of motivation can be the highest obstacle to reaching your goals. When you have no motivation to complete a task or even to start one, consider one possible reason why you are struggling. Develop a plan to help motivate yourself to get there. Keep in mind that not every strategy works for everyone or in every situation. Perform some behavioral experiments to see which strategies best help reach your goals. Take a few minutes to consider the following. Number one is self-doubt. When you think you cannot do something anymore, or are you convinced you cannot tolerate the distress associated with certain tasks, you will likely struggle to get started. Ask yourself, do I have enough knowledge about this thing? Can I really do this with this knowledge that I have? Number two, lack of commitment to a goal. If the institution gave you a research task and agreeing to a task simply because you felt obligated, your heart is not really in it. Most likely, you will not take action to your goal. Number three, mental health issue. A lack of motivation is a common symptom of depression. It can be linked to other mental illnesses like anxiety. So, it is important to consider whether your mental health may be affecting your motivational level. Find it out. Next, number four, use the 10-minute rule. Remember this? The 10-minute rule can help you get started. Give yourself permission to quit a task after 10 minutes. When you reach a 10-minute mark, ask yourself if you want to quit or keep going. You will likely find you have enough motivation to keep going. Number five, go for a walk. Fresh air, a change of scenery such as this, a little exercise can do wonders for your motivation. Walking in nature as opposed to sitting all day in an online teaching. Use your free time to do this. In a study published by British Journal of Sports Medicine found that walking half a mile through a park reduces brain fatigue. Do you agree? Who knows? While walking, you will be brainstorming ideas for your research at the same time. The next one is manage to do your list. Say, for example, I have a meeting at 9 to 10. I have an online class at 10 to 12. I should have a break at 12 to 1. And then at 2 o'clock or 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock, I need to brainstorm with my friend, Dr. CHUA. List down all the options. Check the materials and references that you have. Start conceptualizing your title. Ask someone to work with you. A co-author maybe. Collaborate. Divide tasks between you and your co-author. Write when you are ready. Do not write something you do not know. You cannot give or do not have. Continue again with your admin work at 3 p.m. and onwards. Then try to coordinate. Reward yourself from working. Create a small reward for yourself you can earn for your hard work. You might find focusing on the reward helps you to stay motivated to reach your goals, then do it. Tell this to yourself. If I have written 500 words today about my topic, I will take a 10-minute walk at the mall and browse some inspirational books at the National Bookstore. If I have written 2 pages today, I will have free time to watch Netflix by 10 p.m. If I have finished my introduction and other preliminaries, I will buy a new shirt. So, reward yourself from working. Consider whether you are likely to be more motivated by smaller, more frequent rewards or a bigger reward for a complete job. You may want to experiment with a few different strategies until you discover an approach that works best for you. So what to do when you have no motivation? Sometimes you need to seek professional assistance. If your motivation remains low for 2 or more weeks, seek professional help. You may also want to seek help if your lack of motivation is affecting your daily functioning. For example, if you are not able to go to work, your performance at work is suffering. Or if you cannot get motivated to write research, this could be a sign of something serious. Try to look for a mentor that you are most comfortable to work with. Research is a professional task. So if you need professional help, look for someone that you know could help you understand what you really want to do. For my personal and professional advice, ladies and gentlemen, the first one is to always remember that research is an academic task that must be part of our daily lives of teaching if you are a teacher. Do not think of any reward yet. Reward will just come as a surprise, although all HEIs now have their own policies and procedures in conducting research, and they have their research incentives or schemes. Like, for example, if you have published a Scopus Index article, the institution will give you 30,000. That's a great motivation. For professional growth, research is significant to reflect on our own teaching strategies in the classroom. Improving teaching practices, strategies, and the way we deal with our students could be done through research. That is also called satisfaction, as stated earlier. Research is not only for teachers. Try to make your research published. Search for journals that are appropriate to your subject. If you are major in MBA, then look for a journal that really produce MBA journals. There are lots. If you are an MBAM, then there are also journals that produce such journals. Motivate yourself. If no one motivates you, say, I want to do research to improve my teaching or my work. So it's not only about teaching, but it's also your work in a company. So incentives or promotions will just follow. Make your friends or make friends with the research director or your advisor, your deans. Make them as your mentor. If you have any difficulty in doing research, surely they could help you. Learn how to use different research tools such as Turnitin, Safe Assign, and other tools. Okay? Read a lot of research works using reliable e-references such as ProQuest, EBSCO, Springer, and many others. Have self-discipline. Why do others can produce 3 research articles in just 1 semester? If they can, why can't you? Know your goals. Ask yourself, how many years will you be staying at work? In a private or public institution? And what is next? If you want some improvement, conduct research. Do you have plans to move forward? Conduct research. For my inspirational and motivational quotes I got from different sources, life is 10%. What happens to me and 90% of how I react to it, according to Charles Swindoll. I cannot change the direction of the wind, but I can adjust my sails to always reach my destination, according to Jimmy Dean. Eleanor Roosevelt says, to handle yourself, use your head. To handle others, use your heart. Whatever the mind of man conceive and believe it can achieve, according to Napoleon Hill. 20 years from now, you will be more disappointed by the things you didn't do than by the ones you did so. Throw off the bowlines, sail away from the safe harbor, catch the trade winds in your sails, explore, dream, discover, according to Mark Twain. Strive not to be a success, but rather to be of value, Albert Einstein. I'm not a product of my circumstances, I'm a product of my decisions, Stephen Covey. Change your thoughts and you can change the world, Norman Vincent Peale. I would rather die of passion than of gold, Vincent van Gogh. A person who never made a mistake never tried anything new, Albert Einstein. I have been impressed with the urgency of doing. Knowing is not enough. We must apply. Being willing is also not enough. We must do. Leonardo da Vinci. The only person who's destined to become is the person you decide to be, Ralph Waldo Emerson. So, I think that's all for my advice on motivation research. I hope you were able to absorb some of them, if it's not all. And no one is perfect. You can just try some of these tips one at a time and then start conceptualizing your own research as well. Well, your advisors are really good to help you, and if you need also help, I am also willing. So feel free to ask. Okay, so if I can, why can't you? Good day.